Hi, I'm Millie Swan, Executive Business Strategist and heart-based leadership mentor to CEOs, business executives and people who are specialists at what they do and they just happen to be in business. Well, this is the fourth step of part of a 5-step series that I'm giving to you, and I hope that you have been enjoying the blogs and the video classes as well. I'm going to talk to you today about the 80-20 rule and how to do 80-20 really well. Everyone knows the principle, but how do you really do it? How do you really make it happen for you? One of the challenges that people have is they overcomplicate things. They sort of go through this ridiculous stage of thinking that there's things that they should be doing because that's what the perception is. Everyone seems to be doing it. And they forget to come back to the simple things that really work. And so you tend to focus on other things that are really not as productive, not as important. But how do you really do what's really right just for you? It's pretty easy when you understand a few simple principles and how we go through this process. It takes all the stress, all the complication away. It makes it really simple for you to take your business from a place of just sort of getting by to a place of starting to really thrive and really move forward. And it helps you to align yourself to who you really want to be and what you want to be doing in your business. One of the most important things about the 80-20 rule is that it's a representation of the natural cycles of business. So when you move away from what natural cycles are and you start getting distracted by things that you think are working, then the reality is that you need to come back to what really is. When you use the 80-20 rule, you start to focus on the things that really become easy for you. And that's why this principle really works. 80-20 is so simple. I always like to also think about it as 1 in 5. What are the 5 things you could be doing, and what's the one thing that really works for you? If you just take that one thing and keep repeating that process, then the other things really become less important. You do need to ask yourself really a series of questions. And if you've been watching the other videos, you'll know that in the first video we introduced to you the concept of the rule of W. It's a great questioning tool, and this is a great place to bring it back, because from here you can understand what is really working and how can you wash, rinse, repeat this 80-20 rule. How can you spend 20% of your time for an 80% outcome? It depends what your issue is, but this is really simply how it works. If you take one really quick, simple example of networking, if you're going to lots of networking events, are you asking yourself, why am I here and what's my purpose? And if you understand that perhaps it's either just to meet with like-minded colleagues, that's a really different purpose than if you're going to look for potential clients. If you're going to a networking session for potential clients, you need to ask yourself, are my clients really here? Is this my client base, or is this more of a social activity for me to just recharge and connect with people at the right level? Understanding exactly what your purpose is right from the start helps you to identify why you're there. If your intention is to get clients, well, are you at the right event? Are you mixing where your clients are? Maybe this isn't the right event. If you're not walking away from this with at least 3 or 4 contacts that you can follow up later where you've just connected at the networking event, maybe it isn't the right place for you. Maybe this isn't where you're getting your clients from. Have a really red hot look. If your focus is all about meeting new people and getting new clients, then perhaps you need to understand, if you've already been measuring it or not, where those clients are coming from. It's the same with the other end of the scale. Are you looking at your expenditure and where you're spending your money? Some of the simple things are you spending all your time focused on struggles with money instead of focusing on how you can get the money in? Often you find that 80% of the clients that you have are pretty okay, but you're spending 20% of the time on clients that are really easy for you. You're not worried about them, and they're often the biggest income earners for you. Often you're spending 80% of the time perhaps on clients that are really hard work and you're really struggling with them and they're exhausting for you. And so you have to decide what is really working for you. What are the easy paths? Having a really red hot look at what it is and how you're going about things, who you want to align yourself with, using this rule of W helps you to apply the 80-20 rule. We all know how great 80-20 is if you use it. We all talk about it, but how do you really make it happen? If you combine the rule of W and that questioning tool that we've talked about previously with the things that work for you, and just keep doing the things that work and are easy for you, it's usually in the 20%, the top 5 things. Look at that one thing that really works and just do more of that. It seems really simple, isn't it? But we don't really take the time, just a few minutes, to really understand what that is. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about with the rule of W, then join into the free little classes that we're having here and go back to the very first video. You're welcome to sign up. It's a series of 5 little courses. They're really the foundational tools that work for every level of business, right from the businesses that I've worked with are $100 million turnover businesses, right through to startups. These principles work with every single level of business, but understanding and getting clarity around really what is the main issue, and then just repeating what works for you, and out of the 5 top things, pick the one that's really the most beneficial just for you, without all the other outside influences of expecting to do what everyone else tells you. Often what everyone else is telling you, they're unsure about themselves. So take your own counsel on this. Have a really red hot look. Look for yourself. What is really working? Use the rule of W to understand what your biggest challenge is, and then wash, rinse, repeat that one thing, the one thing out of 5 that is really working for you. And then the other things will have less impact, and over time you'll be able to address the other issues as you go along. Try it. Sign in for the course. Come and enjoy the other processes that we can teach you, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the feedback and the outcome that you get from the courses. Thanks. Bye for now.